Hi, Libra. You received a similar smile in the beginning like Leo. They're very helpful for you this year. We'll talk about that in a second. So 2023, happy New Year. Whole new direction, right? The year of the Chariot, which is beautiful. It's like cardinal energy. This is familiar energy to you. And so I feel like for the cardinal signs, Libra, Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, this helps the whole. This helps the other parts. Like, remember that different directions or new horizons or adjusting it's important, right? And that there's to look to the future with belief in each other, in yourselves, in your soul. Okay, so I chose an overall energy, a challenge card, and then we'll go month to month. You're actually, I already recorded your sign, and I transferred it and everything was golden, but then for some reason it wouldn't allow me to change its title, because it sort of automates these random letters, and it's like you could be creative and be like, what does that say? Or what is that? But really it's so random that it's not supposed to make sense. And this kind of confirmed another message, which was, you know, if you knew the future ultimately, like you still wouldn't even feel ready for it. You know, and I guess that's what trusting in yourself and what you do day to day and how you use what you know and who you are is so important, because, well, you're a creative soul, right? And wherever you go, you help things balance out, you know, and that's really beautiful. Thank you for that blessing. You know, especially when the more balanced you are in yourself, not that you have to be all the time, but when you are, and the more you come to understand and embody that balance versus trying to make it something external, you really advance as a person. You get a lot of reward from Saturn, from time, what have you, to be more like fluid or expansive in your creations. You know, it's still a test of who you are. And again, one is never really ready, but it's cool. I see some really good energy for you, Libra. And I did see good ideas. Leo received, I think it was rad ideas. Hold on, let's double check. Well, do we need confirmation to move forward? No, not necessarily, right? Sometimes double checking it can represent a lack of faith. Sometimes it's a good practical thing. It's a fine wee little path between this and that sometimes, right? The number 3 could also be helpful. I see the trinity, like a trinity. Triangle. Let's look at your overall energy. Let's combine that in. Remember I was saying, I was like, oh, we already recorded this other reading, and I was like, yeah, that's the reading. And I even asked, I was like, do I need to re-record that, because there was a blockage with it, you know? Do I need to redo that, or is this just stuck? And it wasn't even that, it was that, but it was also something else that I felt, where I was just like, well, I'll just leave that alone for now. I still have other things to do. And then I went all the way around, and some time passed, and then the question sort of came again, where it's just like, is it a good time to do that? Because I had done these other parts, and it was like, yeah. And your overall energy for this year, which is I guess it's all on a line. You also, the only card that showed itself was the 6, which I see as it's a mental chariot. But you received the chariot, so for the collective Libra, you're holding this year, in a way. And however you deal with other people, it could even be your descendant, your 7th house. Interesting. There's definitely people coming towards you this year. I did see you kind of surrounded by people, but not in an intimidating way. It's like a way of appreciation. I also see this as really strong family or like ancestor energy too for you, which is really beautiful. Cancer is the, chariot is Cancer. Cancer is the moon, and moon is like family heritage, Really taking the lead. So you, as well as Cancer, I guess all the cardinal energy, particularly Libra and Cancer, are meant to step up into this more leadership role. Yeah, Queen of Wands. I had to switch the camera around too and do something different. So because we have to look a new way to ensure that there's enough, because I feel like one side, we talked about this in December, the left side of you had a lot of energy in it, right? And so remember that I see you're protected to go to the other side, if you will, I saw there was like a dirt path, and then there was a V in it. But it was this wide prairie, like you couldn't, or I don't know, I can't explain where it is, but because it wasn't long grass, it was sort of more desertous, but there was a lot of life there, and it wasn't too hot. Point is that it split off, but that prairie or whatever, the horizon was far enough that you couldn't, whether you picked right or left, you couldn't see what is ahead, so you're gonna have to choose like that with, sometimes again it has to be rational purely, and you put your emotions aside and you're strong about that because you know yourself better now, and you don't allow the external to influence your internal so much anymore, right? That's maturity, good. And then it's also trusting yourself intuitively, where it's just like, whoa, I need to slow down, Wow, Chariot. Hold on, I kind of got double notes here, so I want to make sure it's all in there. All right, let's look at your challenge. I feel like that would be helpful. 8:05. Well, do 8:15. Libra, let's look at your challenge for the year. Queen of Pentacles. So this cardinal energy, wherever Capricorn is for you, is what's going to make you question yourself. Oh, I also saw that song, Silver and Gold, Silver and Gold. Hold on. Took a note. Everyone wishes for silver and gold. How do you measure its worth? By just the pleasure it gives here on earth? They kind of have a similar background. Do you see that? So sometimes you could be so solid this year, but the challenge would be that you don't realize that something's as close to you, like something arriving, or what the timing is actually you're on time. I suppose time could be an issue for some of you too with that Capricorn energy. Time is on my side. Yes, it is. Maybe you just want to remind yourself of that. I don't know, some sort of confirmation. Don't try not to It's not about being aware of what you are able to do. But this could even be success for some of you. Oh yeah, she has the Magician's Roses, which in your last reading, you only had one major, which was the broke down to the Magician to me. So this is showing that you have everything that you need to move to the next place, right? Or to meet with that which you're wanting to create. So you have to believe in yourself this year. I suppose this would also be a good balance of, because this shows a lot of responsibility, right? Both ends. That could also be the challenge again, because Queen of Pentacles is successful, and she's responsible. She has a lot to do, and so therefore she has a lot in her life. So if you have a lot on your plate, you want to make sure that you delegate when you can other tasks, okay? This is also acknowledging personal space, right? This is a Cancer Capricorn axis is what I see. Interesting. Which are squares, your squares. Huh. Libra. Like, you got to know when to put work down, or you got to know when to, again, like, delegate time. If you ever needed to move, you have enough money to do it. I also see that it's wise to have, like, savings for a car, or for things, like, in case your car breaks, or transportation, whatever that means. Just ensure that you have it. I feel like you already do, or you have something that's solid here. You want to make sure that you can go from, that you can, well, like, I see pay the piper between A and C. So, but you got that. This could also be moving home for some of you too. Don't wait for other people to change this year. That could also be your challenge. Because you know what? Well, I say nobody's ready. Queen of Wands. Because what you want this year for yourself, for not just yourself, what you want this year, that's wider. Well, that's what you're going towards. So believe in yourself. 1313. Okay? You can't whistle when you're smiling. Did you know that? Oh my goodness, January, the Magician. Everything's right in line. Okay. Well, January is like, boom, got it. Okay, it's fluid. It's like I have all the things. It's all organized. The person has some great ideas. These are some good ideas. But it's not just the idea. It's how to take an idea that you already had and worked it into the physical world some way, somehow. It's happening. And then you take that and you come up with an idea of how to make that more real. Or, because it's not just about the more of it. It's about the it's another stage in the process. This looks to October. This looks to your birthday. Pisces to Libra. So what you believe in yourself. Do you have like a book of ideas, or probably want to start this year with a fresh notebook, or like, I guess it's a clean slate in a certain way, but it's already been cleaned, and now you're being particular about what you're putting upon this, that we're like what you're working with, what's in front of you. So I guess it could even be where you're taking some of the things again that you have made externally, and now you're combining them together. Cool. I feel like this is really good mentality. The clock on the wall says 3 o'clock. The clock on the wall says 3 o'clock. I'm like drumming on July and December. Okay. I feel like we said what we needed to say there. Remember, words are magic, thoughts are magic. Okay? It's also a year of speaking from your heart, too, right? Like kind of leading with your heart. A heart that's not afraid. I would also say if you have any, especially like creative energy. Well, I told Leo received this message once. It's like, your life is, your life is an art project, okay? Remember that. The way you do dishes, the way you brush your hair, the way you move your lips, the way you wink at somebody, the way you make your bed, the way you enter, go through a doorway. Or look at someone, embrace someone, embrace things. It's all, remember that. Okay, these readings are going to be longer, but I want to keep moving because I guess we've gone over what we had to say. Especially we don't have to get into too many details. February. Sun. Exactly. Let's keep moving. Wow. Another major Libra. The friggin' sun. The sun in February, well, that is beautiful. It's so bright. It's all this yellow. Look at all this yellow, Libra. You see that? Look at all this yellow. That's your core. That's your chi. That's your, that's your cup of tea. Okay, well, February is very positive, excuse me. I suppose this is a trine to you. That's really beautiful. Oh, some of you are here because you're an Aquarius sun. Or you're trying to put more. Oh, this is also putting light in Aquarius's house. Good. Good. Oh, I've never seen a reading like that. Interesting, Libra. Thank you. This is what I meant. This is kind of what I meant, and it happened before I even did your reading. It's like you're gonna have these ideas, or like the way that you're thinking about it. It's like you have there's such a creative mind this year. And it's interesting because it's coming with a bunch of maturity and responsibility. So to have those combined is really cool because you're not going to lean one side into the seriousness of it. I mean, not that things aren't serious. Saturn is exalted. You exalt. It's Saturn. It's well, very creative time again. Very happy. What are they looking down to? July. Oh my gosh. Silver. It's like, because July is moon, July is Cancer, and then we have sun. This is a silver and gold. Silver and gold. Oh, sometimes the challenge could also be where you kind of give it to God. You know what I mean? Where you're like, okay, I again, because to start afresh. Well, usually we have less. Humans are actually happier with less because now the world has so much, you know. Maybe that could be also a way for those of you who spend, you know, how you spend time, money, etc. Really positive time. Well, I guess we'll just leave it like that. February's good. If for some reason it's more silver than gold, I suppose don't forget to get your sunshine, especially if you're in winter time, right? This also has a white horsey on it. Libra. So like your inner child is on one horse and like your adult self is on the other horse, like the spirit of them. Cool. Okay, let's keep moving. A horsey, right? March. 5 of Swords. See, no big deal though, because we already knew about the 6 of Swords. Right? So it really isn't a big deal. Because I did see for some of you too, your future, it's not telling the future. It's like, because you're in line with things and you're not bothered by that which, you know, goes in and out. That you'll be able to see something before you actually get into it. I guess March is one of those things too, where it's like, it's not about... Oh, someone's not afraid if other people don't like it. But it's not the rude, it's not, well... I don't know if we need to split hairs here. Someone is in this March. Someone is not. Let's take it in the positive. This person is not worried. This person is not worried. They realize that they are the one that each person has their own truth, and that with that truth, whatever it may be, that is what a person creates. You know, that's their decisions are who they are. I would also only do like one, try to do like one main, like say in a weekly like work way. Make sure you have your week, like this is Pisces time for you, so it's a little bit of an adjustment. You want to make sure you keep your head on straight and positive, although I see that that's already here because it's in your soul now, because you feel stronger about yourself, right? You're not trying to prove anything, which is good too. There's no spite in this card. Oh my God, this is you looking at the other stages of yourself. Like, it's like you can see your evolution. Like, you can see your evolution. So really, I suppose what this Five of Swords is showing me is a person that no longer is fights with themselves in their mind. Interesting. Good. You already know what's fair. You are the essence of that. Or you've had to struggle with finding, like knowing what that is in your soul and then trying to make that out in the external world. And you can do pretty good about it, right? But I guess that one of the steps that's important is to well, I guess to understand about carrying heaviness from the like it's the way you carry a person, I guess, carries themselves, you know. You don't have to wear a suit full of armor to be strong. And the truth can be spoken in so many different ways, right? Things can be spoken in many different ways. And maybe there's a new, like, kind of communication style or like an editing of something in a way, because you can see the different stages of something. Okay, let's keep moving. 26, we'll do 2656. Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. Well, that's a happy card. That's another, there's another horsey. Do you see this? White horsey. Then we have it, it's like, okay, now I'm going to take a turn, right? I'm going to angle here a little bit. You obviously chose, there's kind of choosing that fork in the road. Could be either way, feeling good about it, and then really in your heart too. It's a great, beautiful day, and then you end up on the path. You don't lose the path. Interesting, Libra. I was just seeing there was all these, again, these pieces that are like coming together. Knight of Cups is, who taught you love, Libra? Who taught you what love is? And if you happen, I feel like this is platonic, as well as romantic. Who taught you love? Who were those two, the two there? This is also a person, to me, that really loves life. This is where you solve something with Pisces too. It's like you can embody more of Pisces energy, water energy. It's Cancer and Pisces is what you're embodying. So I guess a person believes that they can feel connected no matter what they have, no matter where they know they have to have themselves in the equation. But to where they are, to who's around them, to the environment, that doesn't affect that piece. It doesn't affect the, well, I guess the belief that a person's allowed to be happy. King of Cups. This is a knight, not a king. I suppose that's something to point out there. Oh, because that's Cancer, Pisces. And then there was Scorpio. Interesting. So there's a water element. But this is warm water. I feel like this is warm water, so something does feel good. This is also, again, with the horsey moving forward, but it's not hauling ass. It's just like 1 foot. It's a calm pace, because you know what? All right, so most of the other signs, we talked about this, and I guess we will now for you. It's important to remember with horsies, there's a chariot year. Remember, you out of the collective, I find that real trippy. That's cool, Libra. Because feeling better about ourselves and therefore our relationships with others creates peace in the world. You know, when people love themselves, then, and they love their family and where they came from because that's themselves, then they can finally go out wider than that and understand that everything's connected, you know, if you want to go farther enough. So point is when you're going along on your horsey, and I like that you're not hauling ass. It's like, you know where you are. You got to. I feel like this is a steady pace for you. You're setting the pace, because a lot of the other ones are like Leo, for instance, hauled ass from January to June, and then from July to December, the second half of the year was slow. It slowed them down. So this is something that's a different kind of energy, because you can only ride the horsey for so long before you have to stop. You have to lead them to water. But remember, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink, which I suppose is spirit's timing. And then there's you. So you rest and you drink and you replenish yourself. And then when both are in a line, you get back on the horsey and you go. And I feel like you have really good patience here. And whoever you're involved, I guess that's what you're wanting with the involvement with others too. Could even meet someone upon your path, and that has a lot to do with you not judging yourself for who you used to be, or where you've come to learn how to speak up for yourself and understand that you're allowed to have your own decisions. Okay, let's look at May. May. 7 of Cups, more water. So this is when Jupiter moves signs, right? You actually do really good with that Jupiter and Aries energy. You keep the pace with it. It's like you stand, then you get on the horsey. Then you stop, then you get on the horsey. It's smart. And this is another time that you stop, okay? So this is kind of like an in month, if you will, but not a completely internal where you're not doing anything. Because 7 of Cups is going to give you an opportunity to choose. Somebody else talked about this, that had this 7 of Cups. I don't know if it was Aquarius or Leo. I think it was Aquarius. Either way, what is 7 of Cups? Well, there are many options here, right? You can choose. You want to know, well, I guess in this time you'd want to think about the emotional connection to the choice. Like, what's the emotion behind if you pick that choice? Like, fast forward into the future. You can do that. You can use your imagination and be like, well, you know, because some of these choices are easy. It's like, okay, well, if I do this, then it will be that. And if I do this, then it will be like that. And it's like you've done it before. Maybe it's the ways other people go about it. There is a way that scares you, maybe because it's something new. But don't worry. Be happy. I guess you want to make sure you choose out of happiness too. If there's any choice that's out of fear, don't do it. Because right now, remember that you were just on the horsey. And then you sit and chill. You gotta, this is kind of like inclement weather. Okay. And I guess this would also be going over what it is that you do have, being aware of the opportunities that are all around you, because they're right. It's not even all around you. You can see all of them. They're all in your, they're right in front of you. They're right in front of you. So let's see about that, because this is Libra with options, right? Which Libra always has options. Let's see. Oh, stay steady, because if you pick in this time, if you try to, you'll decide what it is. But it's where you don't pick out of your shadow, okay? You pick with the shadow in check, but you're not afraid of it. Because remember, we're in fixed energy. When you pick during fixed times, ultimately, it kind of sticks there. And then we have to learn that lesson, right? So maybe you just want to go over again what the options or opportunities are. Maybe even bless yourself with the fact that that is happening, that you have so many options, okay? See that as a blessing, and then again, use this creatively. You know, maybe you even want to think about, okay, well, you already have these plans and you have these things in place, and you actually feel good about them. And I actually do see 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 of them are where they feel good. They feel solid. They're things of value to you. You have that. So maybe this is a little bit of what could you add to your plate. Or how could you maybe it's different kinds of people in your life. Don't pick from your shadow. Nope. Don't pick from your shadow. It's just consideration in this month, not choice. Okay, let's leave it like that. 37, okay. 6 of Swords. So this is when you get back on the horsey, but the horsey is now turned into a boat. I guess this could show where if any of you picked out of your shadow, you could get put in a position where you don't want to be. And you'll have to do, like, kind of do something that you don't want to do. Because you didn't sit and think about it, like pray about it, really choose it from an empowered place. You have to choose empoweredly, you have to choose happily, you have to choose responsibly if you're going to choose at all. I guess that's kind of the sentence. In another way, I suppose this is also where so there are other people around you in the journey now when you're with the horsey. Maybe you pick up a hitchhiker. Don't pick up a hitchhiker. Hold on. What's this Have you ever picked up a hitchhiker? Well, never is a strong word. I've hitchhiked. It's nice to get a ride. Aw. Justice. It's nice to get a ride. Maybe that's a part of it. Maybe you need a ride. Would you pick up a hitch? Oh, wherever your judgments are, you're going to get them back. Not all of them. Remember that that's kind of what life does sometimes. Now, you can't help everybody, right? You can't pick up every hitchhiker, every stray dog, whatever. You can't pick up all the strays, save the world, okay? But well, I see we're not supposed to do things to try to get things. But I suppose wherever, because what I saw was where it was a person, like, say a person was judgy, like, oh, I'd never pick up a hitchhiker. But then someday it's like, you know, your car breaks down, you're on the side of the road and you're thumbing it, and it's like you wouldn't get a ride, you know, or at least you'd have to walk a ways, and then if whoever did pick you up might not be whatever, you know. Interesting. Then we went to the 7. So it goes 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7. This is Aries. 5, 6, 7. Do you remember that reading? They had so many numbers like that. It's like you need someone, because you know what? I guess this is you also leading, right? You're the leader again. This could also be where you need to know that you can trust other people to lead when you are tired, when you cannot see. Okay? I guess this is also expressing what you need. This goes back into I have to check the stove. I don't want the fire to go out. Just a second. Hold on, LIBRA. I get a snuggles in. It's really cold here today. Well, really cold, that's not true. I grew up in the land of ice and snow. It's like 40. But it's not usually this cold, so I have to make myself comfortable. That could also be something too, where some of you you could be a little burnt out on work, or again, remember delegating tasks. You need to delegate tasks. That could also be something that you figure out in May also, where you're like, okay, how do you feel about doing this, that, and the third? You know, how are you feeling about what's going on? What are the main components of your life? And could be some kind of offer in April in addition, but I would sit on that. I would wait, you know, because this is kind of like where, remember, you had all those pieces that were separate, and then you kind of put them together and made something, and then from there it's like, again, another idea about like, well, how could I expand on that or put these together, right? And maybe in June you realize that you also need help for that in addition. King of Pentacles. And I guess you'll know who's reliable or not, right? Maybe just people's truths will come to be known. Like you'll find out who really, like, who's your friend and who's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a test of who loves you. It's just kind of, I mean, it's air anyway, so it's just, it's not gonna tweak you. There's nothing tweaking out here in the physical world. It's just like awareness within to the physical world. And it's mental. I would also say if you deal with depression or you get down on yourself sometimes, like that's a lot. You don't forget that you're kind of lying to yourself. You gotta check that mental space. Okay? There's never just one road. You know that. There are always options for things. Okay, don't ever let anybody tell you there's only one way to go about it. Or there's like, even what the right way is. Like, you have to figure that out for yourself. And make sure that matches who's around you. Because remember, the people in your life you are meant to respect. Because they respect you. Your truth, your time, your love, etc. Okay? Alright, let's see. July. 2 of Wands. Okay, now we have some fire. So, I'm going to share something with you. It's kind of like a collective note too, but you're the one that ends up getting the message, which is cool. Extra information for you, Libra. So all the signs, because I just went with the flow of it. These ones are going to, again, they're longer than last year, than all the years prior. There's more time now, more creation happening in this space. So with this being a chariot year, when we get to July, Cancer chariot energy, it's like, if I just did it the same time, if I used the same playing field as I did before, I would have only gotten halfway. And there is kind of a marker point there that's important. Because it's almost like this latter half of the year, or whatever comes after this, is kind of like up for discussion, or like it's, because it's going to depend what happened to really dictate that. So everybody's kind of working in a 6-month span. It's important to remember, right? For instance, when we're in July, we're going to think back to January, right? To February, to the sun energy. Okay? 2 of Wands is really powerful. What are they looking at? The Ace of Wands. So okay, I want you to remember to be in awe of what you have achieved in this life. This could be what you did over the last day or two. Make a list. Like, it could be what you've done over the last few months, or the last few weeks, or the last few years, or even like all the places you've been in the last 2 decades. You know, like ponder upon that and realize that you have, because this is going to give you more opportunity to understand where you want to be in the world, or who you are, wherever you are in this world. Remember, this was also, June was like horsey, turned into the boat, right? Then we go back, we get off the horsey, and are kind of back, could be back in the castle where the chariot came from. Maybe you do, like, you go around and you make a loop, right? Maybe this was an adventure here. Or it could be where you're in a completely new place for some of you. I suppose with chariot energy too, and 6 of Swords, it could be a consideration of again, home. But I guess that either way, this is new places. Whatever it is that anyone, someone's either, how do I explain that? Less is more. And I guess for you, what you've done is you're working your way back down to the Ace of Wands. Maybe that was a piece of the puzzle that you couldn't fully see or fully use yet because you weren't ready mentally. But then we have 5, 6, 7, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, okay, I turned. Well, something's more durable. So you have a whole new opportunity here, really, to change something major. But remember, I don't feel like it's a place of choice. It's a place of consideration. January, March, May, July, all consideration months. That's the main focus. Consideration, not choice. Choices would be, and these are being in line with spirit too, or whatever the timing is of things. Let's see. And you have to feel good about it. That's kind of the only way the horsey goes forward, is when you feel good about it. If you do it out of fear, then you go backwards. And so it's almost like something won't let you move forward unless you're happy. Maybe that's how you also, if you do consider any choices, again, July, choose happily, right? Choose open-mindedly, choose faithfully. Yes. Well, I actually heard maybe you want to ask yourself, what's the fearful choice? Or like, what's the... I see the words again, it's like consolidation, like something's coming. There are these separate parts again that are like coming together. Because this is asking what's worth it too. Okay. Let's see August. Ace of Pentacles. Wow. Awesome. So this is like a horse in the sky. It's like a Pegasus. You can receive a gift during the day. Okay. Whatever it is that you know you need to let go of, it's not all of it. It's just there are things. If you just believe in your heart, like it's kind of like one of those things, like if you let it go, it'll come back. If you let it go, it'll come back to you. There's like Trinity. If you let it go, it'll come back to you. It's like you have to trust. Okay. This is also when Venus is in retrograde. I suppose for some of you, you could actually receive a gift like that. That's interesting. I don't know if most people see it that way, but if there's any big like ways you want to spend money, or like some opportunity that comes to you during this time, well, I guess if you've already thought about it, then you could scoop it up, but I would look at the details of it, right? Don't look at it purely as a child. You also have to look at it like an adult, right? Because something could feel really good and seem really bright, but Venus is in retrograde, which when it goes forward in September, that which seemed like a good idea could potentially be like it's not going to feel the same, right? This could also be because those internal months, or like when you're off the horsey, if you will, is, again, it's great consideration, but there's doing in there, and then what you do in those times is like when then you get on the horse and it's not like you don't have any control over these alternating time frames, but it's so much in line with it's in the line. So it's not like you can't make mistakes. So be wise in your choosing. Choose from happy. Choose. Because remember, you've been around the block enough to know. 5, 6, 7. But most of you are at least 24, right? That's a quarter century. You're smart. You know what goes together. You know what would be helpful. You know what you need. Interesting. Okay. I like that, though. It kind of mirrors up in that sun. It's pretty. So if there are any offers, I guess it would be like, well, what's the time frame on that? Like if someone's like all or nothing, excuse me, camera. If someone's all or nothing, just consider it. Be wise about that choice. Yeah. Because again, you've been around the block enough to know. And I see less is mo. September. Tower. Whoa. Just a minute. I'm trying to figure out what the backstory is. Didn't we say that the sun... No, what was it? Nope, never mind. That doesn't work. Okay, 3 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands. So let's see what this is about. Okay, so one of them is going towards August, and the other one is going towards Libra. So for some of you, there could be something that's upsetting that happens in your relationships. But is it unexpected? Empress, 5 of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. Well, I guess whenever you choose out of shadow, out of ignorance, I guess, where you're ignoring something. You've already done this, though, Libra. You've already done this. You don't have to get all the way to here. I almost see it where like this is where you stay still. I guess this is a huge change in something. Because wherever we're afraid to lose, how do I explain that? It's where we felt like we lost in childhood. I suppose some of you this could be like a divorce, or like somebody's, yeah, it's like there could be like a divorce. Maybe this is also getting over a divorce, getting over, where you go in and you deal with something. You know, really, maybe it's really flushing out the past. This could be resentment. So that you could, you know, this could be resentment. This could be something that just, again, is a memory. Yeah, so you can release it. I would also say if during Venus retrograde any of you, like, someone says to you, like, oh my God, you know, comes back into the picture and is like, hey, you want to be together, you want to, something that you've already... Well, remember, these in-between months, the mutable months, and the mutable and the fixed. But what is this? Pisces? Okay, if these are if these are months, so this is a month that represents that you're not supposed to choose. You're supposed to consider, not choose. Just a minute. Hold on, Libra. Maybe someone's just tired of having a conversation. You know what I mean? Or maybe a conversation has to be, maybe something comes up that, this could also be like, say you're married or whatever. It could be family. It could be like where you've already had a conversation about something, but something comes up and it kind of exacerbates it. But because of that, it actually pushes a bunch of stagnant energy out of the way. It could be a bit dramatic, but again, there's nothing that comes with the Tower that a person is not aware of. Do you know what I mean? It's... This goes back in your... Did we talk about that? Your 7th descendant, your 7th house, your descendant. Because this, I guess this is a lesson. It's a lesson... Well, you made a decision before, right? You already spoke your truth before. Yes, Queen of Swords, you already spoke your truth before. And there were those times where you never spoke your truth. And then again, you finally spoke your truth. It's like you want to trust the decisions that you've made. Again, go back 6 months. The different stages of things. You know, because sometimes the Tower can just be like really, like big. I mean, you Temperance just came out. So there's something like cleansing. There's something that you're learning via your relationships with other people. Because you've been changing who you are. So this gives you an opportunity. Virgo talked about this. It's like, it's an opportunity to try new things, you know? This year is about having direction, right? Finally, having some direction after getting out of that, you know, prior stuck energy, right? And where does that lead you? It leads to a place of peace and power in oneself. There's no anger. There's not even much question because there's so much faith. Let's see October. Let's see your birthday. If it's your birthday, Page of Swords. Oh, okay, so this September energy, could also be keeping negative energy out. This is also another shadow. It's like, it goes back up in, it's the earth energy. It's so you don't repeat a mistake. Ace of Cups. Nope. Lovers. Devil. So if you've been hiding, if anyone's been hiding, they're unhappy. Remember, I see decisions out of authority, made from authority. I didn't like the way that came out. Out of authority. Everybody lies to themselves sometimes. Projections of fear way into the future, lying that it'll never get done, or you could never do it. Fear about pretending to be something so that you don't, I don't know, so that things continue. But like everything changes, you know, and we need challenges to be able to find what the balance is. You know, things, the scales of Libra are always doing this. But the cool thing is sometimes whenever it crosses its own path, then you can feel what that balance is. You know, you can feel when they're in line with one another. And is understanding what that is so that you can understand no matter where you are, you're not ever tipping one way or the other. And I feel like this is pushing something out, especially September. It's like you get out of something. But it's in a really positive way so that you don't hurt yourself. Yes, so you don't hurt your own heart anymore. Or like your heart doesn't hurt anymore. Yes, so you believe more in yourself in the stages of things. You don't necessarily have to destroy to create. And maybe that's a part of it. Is some of you could be so comfortable and so successful again. So all these amazing things that a person may be afraid to step into a new zone because of some old fear. Well, I guess that's getting pushed out. Yeah, which has to do probably with some of you, whether it's your parents divorcing or you divorcing or like breakups or like family drama or whatever. It's just like out. Could even be like fights when like things when you were a kid, when there were no parents around. Like unsupervised situations. It's like finally like sussing out what all of that is and finding success in understanding the lesson. So if we keep moving forward, I don't know if this feels quite like a horsey to me. This is because this is looking back into September. The only other card that does, oh no, July and March look back, right? They're like considering there. Page of Swords is very smart. If they need any information, they got it. I see someone here is just like, don't mess with me. Like they're not. I guess the Tower is a big energy, right? Oh, I see. Something could try to take you off your friggin' path, Libra. Don't let that happen. No, do not let that happen. Look. The Chariot is a 7. The Tower is 16. This is the mirror of it. So in September, it's like what you, if anything, sits purely more in the desire, like you just desire it, but it doesn't have good reason behind it. Whoever's doing this gets like because it could almost be where like your intuition is like, okay, again, there's a fork in the road, and like you feel like the centered part of you is like you're veering this way, but then this is when you slow yourself down. The tendency for you to slow yourself down because you feel sorry for somebody else, which is a reflection of your own insecurity or loneliness, to help whatever situation when you were younger, like solve it. Don't go towards the burning building. Or if you're in a burning building, get out of it. Don't say to yourself, oh, I can handle this, when you know that it's something that you can't handle. Okay? You are definitely, this is an epiphany too. This is an epiphany in October. It's like, but you already knew. King of Swords, you already knew. Do you know what I mean? This is really, really learning the lesson, but it's in a beautiful way because I don't feel like you're intimidated. Unless you have been ignoring your own emotional health, which is your mental health, and otherwise solid, right? Because this is knowing, like, be like, no, I've been there, done that before. You know what feels good now. You know what oh, it's what we said. Interesting. Look at all this yellow. Okay, so really smart. There's some really good ideas here. So the horsey kind of, this isn't a horsey either. So again, it's sort of September, October is like, you can't force the horse, right? You can bring the horse, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Okay, let's leave that like that. Yes, let's see November. The World. Wow, 32 to 22. The World, well, there's another major. That's pretty powerful. Hold on, it's chilly. Well, the World goes to show that the person is protected, right? This is also about timing. Here's more like animals in the sky. Oh, if any of you also chose Out of the Shadow, like we were talking about in May, that also in September, again, Earth to Earth is what don't pick out of your shadow. Don't pick out of fear. King of Swords. No, don't pick out of fear. Okay. The World again has a mandorla. That's about timing. It's about God's timing. It's about being safe. It's about embodying more of your intuition. It's also coming to you fix something too. And your ability of how you ever you deal with your 7th house, which means other people. Really, this is kind of your house. So how do you deal with yourself? How do you deal with others? You may want to spend some time like away from the world, or like makes a little bit of this as personal space too. I could also see that this is a beautiful extension of you. Like you have, there's like, I see influence. There's influence in the world. You know, in August, if something's too good to be true, then it is. Again, we already went over that. Why are these all looking back? 10 of Swords. Libra, this year is not about looking backwards. It's not about, you can't even be too concerned about where you've been. It's about where you are and where you're going. Okay? Where you are and where you're going. I want you to feel stable and solid in that. Okay? I know it's hard for you. It's hard for you and Cancer to be the leader. It's scary. You're like, can I do it? I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. And it's just like, well, you know, yes, you can. I can do it. I'm going to make it happen as much as possible. I'm going to practice. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to overcome. I'm going to soften the sharp edges and reclaim my power to understand who I am and to make the decisions that express myself as a man or woman, you know, in the highest spiritual space, and not choosing ever or declining out of choosing or declining out of fear. I mean, I guess a choice is a choice. Trippy. Let's see December. 7 of Wands, so super, that's a powerful person. He's facing the future. This is one of those things where it's kind of like it emphasizes the January through June, which is that first 6 months. From there, this latter part, it's here, so it has relevance. But remember, there's so many stages before things that gets to this point, you know? And it doesn't have to be like this. I guess some of you, you know, and maybe that's part of it. If there is any friction, it's like, it doesn't have to be like that. Judgment, no. Maybe some of you need like a medium, like there's a medium, or there's like a mediator. 6 of Pentacles, 6 of, you know, maybe this is a good time for counsel too. I would say if you're having any issues with other people, with your children, like just whatever the issues are, make sure you have, like, this is sort of like what you do, Libra, when you're like sitting with 2 people that are, you know, disagreeing or whatever, sitting in between energies that are in opposition, and you try to have one side understand the other side and the other side understand the other side until hopefully you can kind of find like a middle ground, right? I guess that's a way that you also would be helpful to approach or use that kind of energy in December to soften things. Yeah, 2 of Cups, Star. Because this could also be where there's a lot of energy coming at you that's like, okay, time, you know, we're succeeding here. You're growing here. Like the next step is, what's in between these two is success. You know, if we combine this again, what it is success. Are you afraid of success? Are you afraid to have it all? Like, do you feel ready? And you know, there's parts where you're not going to, and that's exactly the fun of it. Again, even if you felt like you were totally ready, you couldn't see the future. And even if you can see the future, you're not going to necessarily be ready. And that's the fun part about life. Don't forget, you know, it's... Silver and gold. Silver and gold. This is the sun and the moon. It's the right eye, the left eye. The masculine and the feminine. It's your mother, your father. I want you to believe in yourself, okay? What you have created, that you were on, that you cannot be taken off the path. There is a path laid out in front of you. And you know what? Horses can swim too if you ever get to water. They know how to swim. Okay? Yep, they know how to swim. It's just you have to take off your armor so you don't sink. Okay? And then wear it proudly. With good authority. Right? And I keep seeing, it's like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Supportive people in your life, yes. There's supportive energy around where you're going, so believe in that. Believe in yourself as a partner, as a person in this life, okay? As a homegirl, as a homeboy, as an employee, as a boss, as a wife, a husband, spiritual soul in this life, Libra. All right, all right, all right. That's the end of the story. Remember, the first friction also came with Pisces, in a way. So that is gonna, you want to keep, You know, because to move forward with authority, it's gonna test your belief systems, you know, and we're meant to be open-minded. We're meant to think differently. This is how, you know, then that fixed energy next is going to hold on to that and create with that. So it's wise to have these in-between spaces of discussion and in combination with moving forward, right? It's really, again, you are setting the pace. Okay. I love you so much. I hope this was helpful. Happiest 2023. Thank you for a beautiful 2022. I will timestamp the months, a little extra at the tip at the end, if you'd like to reference later also. Okay. I love you so much.